There we go.
She's up and running, ain't she? I just want to make sure that we got it on pause. All right, Miss Addie. Hey, what's going on, fam, man? I want to make sure everything was running smoothly, y'all. Y'all know how this technology can be sometimes. So welcome to the One Blood Movement of Unity Open Eye Opener Tuesday show, man. It's such a blessing. Always an honor. Always an honor. I count it all joy every time I get an opportunity to be in front of you and give you some insight on understanding what racism really means and what we can do to change it, what we can do to heal from it, what we can do to better our lives as we go forward with each other. And I'm always so honored. Miss Addie Banks is live with me today, man. Welcome back, Miss Addie.
Thank you. So good to be back.
Indeed, indeed. Like I said, guys, it's always an honor, Miss Addie. You bless me so much, and I don't take it for granted. Someone of your stature, I just the Bible said, always get honor where honor is due, and I give you your honor now, because it is a blessing to me, and I don't take it for granted every time you're with me. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. The feelings are mutual.
Amen, amen. Well, look, I ain't gonna hold y'all. We're gonna make this thing rock and roll. We're gonna might laugh, might cry. We just do what we do. We be people. We be people. We gain and trust that we seek out for just the best understanding that we can get on a level to where we can move forward in life, man, in a Christian way. If you're not a Christian, that's fine. At least you can gain some understanding to move forward in a friendship way. And hopefully and prayerfully, the Christians that are out there in the world would be the Bible that you read. So, we're saying that you got a good welcoming, amen. One Blood Movement Unity, I open a Tuesday show. This show is designed perfectly, I believe, what God has put in my heart to really talk about the elephant in the room. The big conversation that you have inside your four walls of your establishment or your home or your round table that you eat dinner at, and you have just that family oriented conversation. And I always like to relate it to the church, because the church has its four walls, and when the preacher preaches a dynamic message, and it's very, very heart filled, very spirit filled, and the Holy Spirit was just right up in there, and then as soon as you hit outside the four walls, it drops off, and you don't take it any further. So I believe with Eye Opener Tuesday with the elephant in the room that we do the same thing. We talk about conversations in our home, in our one little group, and then we gain an understanding of just each other. And we never let that understanding or either try to get a different perspective outside those four walls. So this is what this does, man. And I think that's just beautiful. I think that's how God designed it. And I love the way he did it, and I love the way he's doing it. He's doing it with a lot of other people too. I'm noticing now there's a lot more shows that's coming out that's been out, but there's a lot of some that are similar to this that are really talking about the elephant in the room. And I believe that's a strong purpose that we have to live right now is really having conversation and then gaining some understanding so we can continue to build relationship and not hate. Love is always given, hate is very, very taught. So with saying that, Miss Addie, the question of today was, I think it was a strong one. It was really a strong one. It says, why do you think America doesn't believe we have racism? That question, man, I tell you, you guys, when God gives me these things, it affects me because it makes me think what he's actually asking me. You know, why do we still have this, son? I give you an order. I need you to carry these orders out, and I need to know why we still having it. So I have to go in deep, you know, on another level of talking to my Heavenly Father and trying to figure out why is it, you know, and create better solutions to get where we need to be. Now, with that question came a lot with I was sent a video of good, strong Black leaders that we have today in the acting world, and just in kind of entertainment, I should say, in the entertainment world. Or there was one of them that was in there. I don't know if he was a lawyer or a judge or whatever he was, whatever his job was, his duties was. I don't know, but statue Black men, you know, men that has the wisdom, the leaders of our day right now who've been through it, who's seen a lot and done a lot. But what was intriguing to me, and Miss Addie, whenever I'll let, if you don't mind, we'll fill in just a minute. What got me with them is it wasn't a disturbance. It was more of a distraction. I need your family to understand this, because the enemy is so busy right now trying to really just misconstrue your mind, keep you really focused on something that's not versus what really is. And it's a spiritual warfare, family. It is a dynamic, just a real straight up spiritual warfare. We have to hit this in a different way. We can't come to this with our own understanding. You know, the Bible tells us, don't lead into your own understanding. We can't. We got to hit it with a different level. But at the same token, while we're doing that, the only way we can do it is to create the conversation. We have to create the conversation. Now, what did these guys say? These didn't they start out with Denzel? Well, they started with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman said a lot along the lines, does he believe that pretty much reparations are forgiven, or should we have them to gain, or would that help out? Would that wedge us back up to society? Would that get rid of racism? Completely said no. Morgan Freeman was very, very strong on that question. And they brought in Denzel, asked Denzel similar question. Denzel had a different level. He was looking at it from a different way. We'll get to that in a minute, Miss Addie, but I see your eyes. I see you're ready to get into it. I'm just going to tell you what they said, and then we'll kind of get into it. Denzel said he believes that we need to have an identity. Our youth, they need their identity. They need to see men of stature, especially Black men, walking upright, pants upright, shoulders broad, looking like a man. Father need to stay home, don't need to be out in the streets running, or just stay home, don't need to be, you know, out leaving, you know what I'm saying, just leaving the kids behind, the wife behind. Don't, you know, they need to be present in their lives. Lil Wayne, one of the rappers, Lil Wayne was on there, and he had said from his perspective, he's been so blessed and not really had ever really witnessed racism with his life. And, you know, and I say that with his life for a meaning, and Denzel as well, and Morgan Freeman as well. And then the other actor, which really, really intrigued me, was Anthony Mackie, one of the guys who had the wings on the movie The Avengers. He said something that was very interesting to me. He was saying that pretty much racism would not exist, or should not, or don't exist rather, because we pretty much make our own destiny, and we have it now. He's saying, in other words, he's been stopped by multiple cops, and he believes 95% of the cops are good, and only 5%, or whatever his numbers are bad. That's from his perspective. And to collaborate all three, all four of what these hierarchy young black men are, what they were saying is racism is not the issue. That's what they're saying. Racism is not the issue, or that's what's portrayed. Let me rephrase that, Miss Addie. Let me make sure we get this right. That's what's portrayed. Racism is not the issue. It's the fathers in the home not being there. It's our decision to call a man, like Morgan Freeman said, we shouldn't call a white man a white man. We shouldn't call a black man a black man. And I'm not going to knock any of these men. What they feel in their heart and their understanding is their understanding. Remember, this platform is not tearing anyone down. It's to build people up and to gain understanding. So I'm not going to tear down what their suggestion is and what they believe. Do I agree with it all? Absolutely not. But I will explain that in a few. But I'm gonna let Miss Addie bring in some truth of why I like to say the blinded message. When you bring in high sophisticated black men and tell me in a sense that I should think like them because they think like me. Now this is coming from a white person is what I'm saying. When a white person sent me the video, so this in my mindset, I'm always asking, what's your purpose of sending me the video? What's your, how do you feel about it is what I really would like to know. And then we can go from there. But the thing is do you want me to have my feelings for it and gain some understanding behind it? Or do you want me to feel and learn what you know and how you feel about it? Is that the only way you want me to think about it? So Ms. Addie, I want you to, if you don't mind, bring some truth from the depth of your heart. How we can understand this thing.
My. What a question. And what a manipulative tactic to throw at you. But it is one that is tried and true. Young man, I need you to understand my truth. So I have found these successful black men that you admire to articulate it out of their mouth into your ear, because if I was saying it, you wouldn't accept it.
Amen.
When we have highly successful black people, they come with a different perspective. They would be lying, all of them, if they said they had never encountered racism. That means that they didn't live a day in America.
Amen to that one.
But they have benefited from relationships with people, black, white, other. They've been friends, they have been co-workers, and therefore they have embraced a race relations in America that allows them to be more tender with the subject. So for people who say, I don't believe that there is a race or systemic racism problem in America, you're just attaching too many other things to it. I say, first of all, I'm going to be nice and say ignorance. I'm going to say there is a lack of information, that they don't know what Black people experience every day. And I give credence to that because if I asked you, how do millionaire white people live and think? We don't know. They don't know how we live either. But the second thing is, we have to sleep at night. What does that have to do with anything? All people want a better world for themselves and their family. So we believe that the world is good. We invest in holding on to, the good news, and we reject anything that confronts that good news. We say, oh, well, that's just an isolated incident. Well, you know what? There were too many Black men being killed by white people to dismiss it in such a rapid order, in such a vivid environment, that folks had to say, slap, okay, I can't dismiss it this time. This is really bad. But when we are confronted with information that challenges our good world image that we really need to hold on to, then we can't unlearn it. And the problem with that, Fred, is that then it causes us to have to re-examine ourselves.
I love the mirror.
We have to look at the me in the mirror that says, but I'm a good person in the mirror. We are challenged by a truth that we can't just get rid of.
Yeah.
That's hard. And because it's hard, then we have a tendency to not only reject it, but we will invalidate it.
Right.
Invalidate it. Go ahead.
You can. Indeed, Miss Addie, indeed. That's the way you look at that thing, family, and the way you see it. It's almost of saying, it's not even almost of saying, it's really saying in a nutshell, I need you to think the way I think, because my way is the right way. When you get to that level, it's like when you're raising a child. They got this thing, now that when you're raising children, we should hear what they say or hear what's on their mind. I do agree. I do agree. We should hear what our children have to say. We should hear what's on their mind. We should hear how they think. I agree with that. But when they screw up, they're going to hear what my hand thinks first. That's called, what is it? Spoiled child, spared rod. There's no spare rod.
And spoil the child.
Yeah, there's no sparing in my home. Now with my girls, I can't even sit here and tell you this live right now. But I popped my girls really good when they were, when they started walking. So you put that daddy voice on them at that point in time. So I have an excuse. But my boys, praise God, I thank God is still here, and I thank God they still love me, because oh God, they caught it. But that's the concept. That's the concept I'm looking at, of what we're looking at, what we're seeing. If I don't think like you think, then I'm wrong. And that's been the theory, the concept from the beginning of all this catastrophic stuff that's going on, all this mischief, all this lying, all this betrayal, all this really saying, well, that's just like Ms. Addie said, that's just not that important right now. And let me tell you this. Let me tell you a story. This is something that happened in my life, and it ties right in with Anthony Mackie, what he said. He's been stopped, and when he got stopped by the cops, he said yes sir, no sir, showed him his license, registration, answered all the questions, and was let go, was set free. Let me express this thing to you, and I'm not mad with Anthony. That's Anthony's perception. That's what he's seeing, and I do agree with you, Miss Addie. It is on the ignorant side to me, because it's that manipulation spirit that goes through, that what we're actually seeing is not true. Let me tell you a little bit of my truth. I've been arrested twice, and they're both white cops that arrested me. And the first time I got pulled over was a DWI. Very, very young, wide, I slapped wide open. And I was actually running about 75, going down the road, getting it. A lot of my mind just drunk and a lot of my mind. State trooper pulls me over. He comes up to the car, same thing. I'm in a good mood because back then I was one of them happy drunks. I wasn't a sad and just say a mean drunk. I was one of the happy drunk, get jolly and go and just ready to go lucky. So I was one of them. And when he pulled me over, my hands out the window and I'm chilling. And he's really cool, polite. Hey man, you was running 75. And I said, yeah, I was getting it. And he said, what you been doing? I told him, I said, well, he asked me, he said, well, you been drinking? I said, yes, I have had a few. And he asked, he said, well, where you been? I said, well, we were young. I said, I was out with my brother. We went fishing pretty much all night. And, and I'm on the way home. That's really, in a nutshell, that's what it is. I think me and my wife had gotten a big argument and I just left. I was going fishing. That's my release, fishing and drinking at that point in time. It just somehow went together. So we went out and that's what we did. And I came back and I'm going down the road and I get stopped. And the cop was moving everything, and very polite cop, real cool state trooper, young fella. So he tells me, he said, look, I got to pull you out the car. Well, not pull me out, but he said, I need you to step out the car, man, because we got to do the sobriety and all that good stuff. And I'm like, hey, cool. You have to do your job. And I'm not upset with him at all. So when I get out, I do my sobriety. And here's the thing, mind you, I've been drinking and I didn't lie about it, but I passed all my sobriety tests. So he looks at me and he's like, hey man, this is weird. He said, I know you've been drinking and you've been drinking a lot. I said, yeah, I'm cool. I no need to lie. And he said, I need you to do one more thing though, because he said you passed all the sobriety tests. And he said, I need you to take the breathalyzer. I take the breathalyzer and below, I think 1.0 or 0.11, something like that. So it was really high. It was above tolerance. And he was like, how do you even drive right now? I said, man, he said, because you were getting, I said, let me be honest with you. When you pulled up behind me so quick, I thought you wanted to race. So I hopped over to the next lane. And I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. I wanted to race and I wanted to get on down the road with you. I didn't know who you were. You just somebody come with some bright light. I didn't see his blue lights. I just seen the flashy lights, the ones in front. That's how gone I was. And he started laughing. And he takes and he said, and we have pretty much a conversation about it. And this is no lie. So he said, then he says, man, he said, I kind of hate to do this, he said, but I have to. And he said, I have to put you under arrest. And I have to take you downtown. He said, but this is what I'm gonna do. He said, I'm putting the handcuffs on, lightly, and you can sit in the front seat. And I was like, man, you do you. I'm cool. You do what you gotta do. You've been cool with me. I've been, we good. Go downtown. Everything's we get it all squashed out. He go tell the manager, say, hey, we just need to sign this guy out. He's good to go. And look, my knife was on me. Everything. Never patted me down. Nothing. And they had to deal with that in the future. The second time I got stopped, got arrested out, it was a felony charge. Had a pistol on school grounds many, many years ago. Nothing big. It's just the fact that I had it in my car. And at that time, I think Columbine had just went through a year or two after that. And you weren't supposed to have no weapons in your vehicle. So we went by. Cop comes out. He's got to check me out and everything. Me and him are talking. I got arrested, but he never put even handcuffs on me. He said, Fred, sit in the front seat, man. He said, this is really not even a big deal to me. I told him a little bit about my story and what I've been through already in my life. This young man prayed for me. Prayed for me. And I was blown away. I was like, wow, white guy, cool as a whistle. Prayed for me. He still took me downtown, but he prayed for me on the way down there. And prayerfully, I got off. Not that day, but it took a year to get off that charge. That was my first two, not my first two, but that was my two incidents where I encountered with police officers that were good. Very good. And like I said, the first one with the DWI, and we talked and laughed. Second one, we talked and laughed and prayed. Now the next ones weren't so pretty. Now, keep in mind, I was raised with a good father, dynamic father, still a great man, raised with dignity and respect, and was taught how to work, how to treat people, to see color, but not be ignorant of color, to recognize color as something beautiful, not something that's hateful. That's how my father raised me. Just a dynamic dude, black man, real good dude. And at that point in time in my life, the way people look at me as an upstanding guy. You would never know I've been arrested unless I told you. You would never know I ran the streets unless I told you. The same attitude that I had the 2 times I got arrested was the same attitude I had the next 2 times when I got snatched out of a car, thrown up against a hood, and all I was doing was reading my book. I was in college, and I was just reading a book, smoking a Black and Mild. And he asked me, do I have a grenade launcher in my pocket? I don't know if any of you don't have to go in the military or be any part of the military to know what a grenade launcher looks like or a rocket launcher looks like. It's extremely long. It's a rocket, rocket fits in it and you launch rockets. Same attitude, same personality, same happy dude. Second time I get arrested, I get snatched out. I get searched so hard he hits my groin. What this one's for, this stop here is just for speeding. I was speeding. And young at the same time, nothing crazy. This speeding probably was like 10 miles over, so nothing crazy. And my pistol, my weapon, my firearm is on my seat. Like I say, I've always said I'm a carrier. I'm a concealed carrier, so I always carry. And that's laying on the seat. So now I'm snatched out and I'm searched so hard it pops my groin, and it's an automatic bend over. You're a male, you know how that feels. Now, people, keep in mind, I have a good father, still to this day. I believe he raised me the best of his ability. Some may say he did a decent job. Some may say he did a great job. It's up to it's your personal opinion. I use the same tone that I used with the other 2 cops, the one that made we laugh with, the one that I prayed with. Same tone. Now, peep game. This is where it hurts, and it gets to the gut of me, because the conversation that was sent to me, or the video that was sent to me, was such a distraction, a manipulative distraction to deter me, to go a different route, to make me think something different than what I've been through as a black man, because each one of these cops that stopped me were white men. Every time. And I just said it's half and half. 2 bad, 2 good. I'm not gonna go through all the ones that I really, the other ones that I've been through. That's the ones that hit me the most. Sandra Bland, a sister, lost her life for probably a $3 light bulb. Now, I don't know how she was raised. I really don't. But she asked a question, rightfully so. She simply said, is this necessary for a signal turn or failure? It might have been failure to turn a signal light on. So she loses her life for a $3 light bulb. Freddie Gray, a cigarette. I don't know how he was raised. I don't know how he come through. I just know he looked like me. He lost his life for a cigarette. Ahmaud Arbery, he lost his life for going into an empty house. The price that we're paying. They look like me. I was reading a book, smoking a cigar, minding my business. The other one was a speeding stop. and I'm raised by someone that looks like me, and those people were probably raised by someone that looks like them. When I was snatched out of my vehicle and thrown to my hood, George Floyd died for $20 for being like that. And from what the media tells you, he had pretty much decent raising. He wasn't, the parents or the mom that raised him was on a decent level of what you call a decent human being or a decent black person or decent for black for being black. Oh man, you got to get to the point to where you're not scared to say, I want to understand you. We can't ask you no more to put yourself in our shoes, because that didn't work. And it hasn't worked. Martin Luther King did a wonderful, Malcolm X did a wonderful. I take nothing from them, but we're in a different day and time. And I do agree with marching. I just agree with marching differently. But you have to put your mindset inside of a black man's mindset to understand what we go through on a daily basis. Because I was raised very well by a good black man. I complied with the officers on all occasions. And the ones that I applied the same way, I was racially profiled. I've been through that one. And all these victims have been through the same. And before I tell you how we can fix it and how we can heal as a nation for American history, before I go there, I'll let Miss Addie, you want to come back in so I can get my eyes back in order?
Thank you for sharing that, because that is our reality. Mm-hmm. And when we show our soul, when we open up our lives to be shared, it's not easy, but it's necessary. Because if you don't understand how Black men feel when police cars are in the area, if you don't understand how young Black males have to look over their shoulder, if you don't understand how Black mamas have to encourage their sons to behave a certain way because I want you to live to maturity, then you don't have an opinion that counts about systemic racism. And that goes for the children of Denzel Washington, Will Smith, and everybody else. Michael Jordan. Because when we say systemic, it doesn't have a picture of your individual child on it.
Right.
So I thank you for sharing from your heart, because as you said, you mentioned a cigarette, Eric Garner, in New York, selling cigarettes. From what I saw, he was a happy man, 6 children. When he left home that day, he had no idea that because he was selling cigarettes so that he could provide for his children in the land of opportunity where everybody's equal and everybody has a chance to to find happiness and prosperity, that he would not be returning home. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Oh my goodness. Let me give you some insight, fam. Let me give you some insight on how we can. I always like to leave you with something that we can go further, advance ourselves. Look, it's I feel this right here. I feel like somebody is really saying, yo, quit playing the victim. Until you're able, like I said a while ago, to really put yourself not in my shoes, you can't handle that. But if you could just get a glimpse of my mindset. In other words, put yourself in the situations that these Black men and women have been in. Put yourself behind a water hose coming from fireman water hose thing, hydrant. I couldn't think of the name of it. Imagine putting yourself in front of that, and for no reason, just for a march, just to walk down the street. Seriously. And I've been through the loan situation. I've been through the redlining situation. I've lived that. I mean, I have literally had great credit. Went and applied for a loan, and they didn't even look at the computer. They looked at a piece of paper and said no. I never even seen them look at the computer to check anything. It was like, no. I've been through all that. And I can't tell you how bad it hurts. The only thing I can do is show you, educate you, and befriend you for understanding. Now you say, Coach Fred, I know I went on a rant, but I wanted to share that with you. I encourage you because I've taken it and I love it. And Miss Addie is up here with me. It's a reason why God divinely connected us, for a reason. She has a course, race relation in America. I have sent it. The link is on my page, my Facebook page. It's on it's on all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's on all my social media. I've taken the course. I advise you and I encourage you to really go. And the reason I'm asking you to go take that course, why, Miss Addie, we talk about it all the time. And I used this illustration last week. And I got to get my voice right. I used this illustration last week. And I want to use it again. When history was made for America, when the forefathers wrote all the rules out, the laws, and what they wanted to see and how they wanted this thing to portray, to come out and work for their favor. You know how you were given a book report or an essay to be done when you was in school. When you was in school, you know, they give you a book report, teacher say gives it back. Well, especially me, when I got my report back, it was full of red ink. And we know what red ink means. So you got to make people laugh to bring back. So when you get back that red ink, we all know what that means. That means there was no truth, there was no heart, there was just misinformed information. It's not right, in other words. When America made all the laws and you wrote it the way you wanted your children to benefit from it, Black folks and people who disagree with it, because you got a lot of good white folks out there as well. I love a lot of my white family. I'm telling you, you got white supremacy and you got good white folks. I'm always say that. I'm always believe that. But we're giving it back, full of red ink, and the red ink signifies the blood that was shed for 400 years. We're giving that back. We have to give that back because the laws did not tell the truth of what's really going on. And when you go back and really read American history, you got to read American history. American history consists of each and every one of us. All your blacks, all your Spaniards, that was back then, all the Indians, Native Americans, all of them were back then. You need to read the real American history and read it in depth because it goes so deep that I believe in my heart that I Miss Addie, when you sent me that 1669 Fair Killing Act, you could kill a black slave off correction. So if I don't do, or my black people that look like me don't do what a cop asks us to do, automatic murder, and they won't be charged. I know a lot of that stuff got amended back then, but I do believe that spirit is still in effect. And if we're handing that,
let me jump in. Not only has it been the spirit, but there was a law, I think in the 70s, that made cops protected from lawsuits for killing someone in the line of duty. I'll send you that information later. And that's on the books now. But I read they're reconsidering it now.
well, amen. That means that the things that are going on now is working.
Yes.
That means the things that are going on right. If we keep listening to people like what is that sister name? Candace.
Oh
Owens?
my. Pray for.
Yes. Yes. I do not like. I do not believe in tearing people down, but I do believe in correction, in a loving way. And this sister really needs some. I try to stay away from people. I can suggest. I try to stay away from saying what people need. I would suggest that she regains and rereads her real history, and really look into what we call the mirror. And you know, I always talk about the two mirrors: the biblical mirror, the spiritual mirror, and your physical mirror. Those two would give you an abundance of life mentally. It would tighten you right on up to tune everything you need to be tuned up. Stay in prayer. Miss Addie, you know I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You know I love you.
Good to be here.
You know I love you. And I just I pray, I just really pray that understanding seeps into your hearts. Love just overwhelms you to want to know how it feels. What's my young lady? I can't remember her name, and I don't know why I'm remembering, because she is so powerful. She teaches race relationships as well, but she teaches white people. And we said her name, I don't know how many times at it. Elaine. Oh my goodness, I lost it. Anyway, that's the way she teaches, by putting yourself in a black person's shoes. I say take out the shoes and put yourself in their mindset, because the shoes didn't work. It didn't work. That myth was tried, but it didn't work. So we got to switch up. We got to do a new game. We got to do a new game. And you need to put yourself in the mindset so you can actually understand what we see on a day-to-day basis and what we feel on a day-to-day basis. And then let's have a conversation about it. Let's get some insight on what we're talking about, and take the course. It's so foundational. It's so foundational. And that's what you have to have right now. We got to go back to the root. We talk about it. We got to cut it at the root. We got to give the book back. All that red ink represents all the blood that was shed for the last 400 years. Go to the root, and we got to cut that out so you can gain understanding. When we get to that level, man, I tell you, we'll be successful as a human race. Unity all day. We will have unity then. Till then, we will be divided, and we will fall. We will fall. and we will hurt, and it will be painful. But there is a new rising. There's a new sun setting. There's a new voice that's coming. And when I tell you, when it hits, it's going to be amazing, because that voice will bring so much unity in this world. You won't be able to run away from it. Not this time. Not this time. This one's coming. God is really doing something beautiful. If you really ready to jump on the bandwagon of beautiful youth, beautiful growth, of learning and loving people, join One Beloved Movement of Unity, Inc. I have to say Inc. now because we incorporated. I have to say Inc. now. And Ms. Addie, please give your information, please, because I need people to go take this course that you have, please.
Thank you so much. It is a wonderful opportunity to be introduced to understanding race relations in America. Not only do we look at the history and the fundamental principles of group behavior, group interaction,
Yes.
but we look at where you fit in that.
Amen.
You what you know, and how do you use that, and how are you going to channel that into better race relations? So go to Udemy, udemy.com.
You better work that neck.
But you know what? You can also, I invite you to go to Let's Talk RaceNow.com website, and there are discussion questions and articles. And what Fred was saying, you can't step into our shoes, but you can read about and learn our perspective. At that website, it is the perspective of one element in America. We're not trying to talk about all of America. It is the ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves perspective. Understand it, and then you'll have something you can talk to us about. Thank you.
Miss Addie, you know I love you. You done worked that neck out today.
Am I a neck worker?
You're getting it in. I love it, man. I tell you, it's been a beautiful show. Guys, listen, family, you know we love you. We put this out here for a reason. This is I truly believe this is God's calling. It's not something of Fred Foreman Senior. I can tell you that for sure. It is something greater than me. That's why I said that a while ago, that you won't be able to run from this message that God is really about to put through this world of unity. It's coming, and it's going to be very impactful because it's built off love. It's not built off tradition. It's built off love.
Yes.
Straight love. And I leave you with this: if each individual does the individual job, that is what will make a team. Got to catch that, family. Got to catch that. Each individual does the individual job. Go study. Go study. That's what will make a team. Y'all be blessed, be safe. Let me give out some information on myself. Good Lord. Join me. I open a Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. It's only one time a month that I do it at 6 because I'm with another group at on that Tuesday at 7. So, and that's normally in the beginning of the month. But be blessed, be safe. Let me see, what else do I have? I have my life coaching. You can go to Fred Foreman Senior, actually life coaching. You can hire me as a coach as well. You can hire me as a motivational speaker to come in and do what we do best. We do what God tells us to do. And it's very unorthodox way. It's a way of showing love in a total different way than what you've seen before. I promise you that. You will learn. You will learn. Come on these nights and be beautiful, be blessed, and take something with you and give it to someone else. That's the beauty of a book. You read it, you read us, you get understanding of it, and you give it to someone else. That's the love, that's the beauty. Miss Addie, you have anything else?
Just be blessed, and thank you for blessing us again this week.
Amen. To God be the glory. Y'all be safe. And you know, One Blood loves you. Talk to you soon.